All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to look at this one huge mistake that both the United States and China are making as they compete for global influence. And it's fascinating because they're messing up in completely opposite ways. But it all comes down to the same thing, a total misunderstanding of what it really means to be a leader in the 21st century.
So, let's kick things off with a big question. In today's world, with everything so interconnected, what actually makes a superpower? Is it just about having the biggest military or the strongest economy, or is there something deeper, something else at play?
Okay, let's break this down. The old playbook, super simple. Brute force. Whoever had the most tanks and the most money, they were in charge. But the new game, the one we're all playing now, it's about something way more subtle. It's about credibility. It's about getting other countries to want to follow you. True power is about voluntary consent. And this, right here, is where both of our superpowers are really dropping the ball.
So, first up, the challenger, China. Beijing has these grand ambitions, right, to build a whole new global order. But it's facing this massive, self-inflicted wound to the one thing it needs most, its credibility.
And you've got to understand the thinking here. This isn't about whether China is good or bad. That's not the point. This is a cold, hard economic calculation. When China lets its partners down, it's not just some diplomatic slip-up. It's a direct threat to its own financial future.
And here's the thing. This isn't just a one-off. There's a pattern here. You could call it an abandonment pattern. Time and time again, when one of China's partners gets into hot water, especially with the US, Beijing just backs away. Let's look at a few examples.
First, take Russia. When the invasion of Ukraine kicked off, China talked a big game about principles. But when push came to shove, they quietly went along with Western sanctions. Now, the message this sent to the rest of the world was loud and clear. If a nuclear-armed world power can't count on you, who the heck can?
Then you've got Venezuela. China was their biggest creditor. They were in the perfect position to throw them a lifeline when their economy just completely fell apart. But instead, they focused on getting their money back and securing resources. It was self-interest, not partnership. It's the same pattern all over again.
And this isn't just about countries in crisis. This is systemic. Take China's huge signature project, the Belt and Road Initiative. When countries who signed up face heat from the US for participating, Beijing's response is basically, tough luck, you're on your own. So here's the bottom line, and this is so important. You can sell someone a toaster if they don't trust you, right? But a fighter jet, a 5G network, a nuclear reactor? No way. Those things are partnerships. They're built on deep, long-term trust. By proving itself unreliable, China is basically committing economic suicide. It's killing its own dream of becoming a high-tech powerhouse.
Okay, so let's flip the coin. We've just seen the challenger fail to build trust. Now let's talk about the reigning champion and how it's tragically throwing away the trust it already had in spades. This, of course, is the story of the United States.
This quote from the source material just nails it. It perfectly captures how weird and self-defeating American foreign policy has been. For decades, America had this incredible asset, genuine admiration from around the world. And then it started acting like it had to conquer a world that was already lining up, begging to join the team.
You know, the author of our source material tells this amazing personal story. He was a young man in Haiti after 9/11, and he was so inspired he actually tried to join the US military or Mossad. And he says he wasn't alone. He was just one of millions around the globe who saw America as the ultimate defender of freedom. They didn't need to be forced. They were ready to sign up.
And this, right here, is the part that was so misunderstood. This worldwide admiration, it wasn't about wanting to eat Big Macs or watch Hollywood blockbusters. It was about wanting access to the American system, the promise of due process, property rights, a level playing field.
It's kind of like that ancient Roman idea, civis Romanus sum, I am a Roman citizen. Back then, that phrase was like a magic shield. It meant you had rights, you had protection. To mess with you was to mess with Rome itself. Well, the world saw that same potential in an alliance with America. They wanted to be protected partners under that same umbrella of rights.
And this is what's so staggering, the potential that was on the table. An empire built on force, well, it's always looking over its shoulder. It breeds resentment and eventually collapses. But an empire that people choose to join? Man, something like that could last for 1,000 years.
Just think about it for a second. A voluntary union of democracies, a kind of global confederation. The Americas, Western Europe, Japan, South Korea, Australia, the list goes on. The argument is that if the US had simply turned to these countries and asked, "Do you want to join us?" the answer would have been a deafening yes.
But, as we all know, America chose a different path. Instead of an empire of love, which basically runs itself on admiration, it went for an empire of fear. And that's a whole different ballgame. It's expensive, it requires constant enforcement, and it always ends in failure.
Okay, so let's tie these two threads together. What you have is one power that has no idea how to earn trust, and another that seems to have forgotten that trust was its greatest weapon. The result? A huge, dangerous leadership vacuum at the center of world affairs.
This table really breaks it down nicely. You've got China. Its core failure is that it just can't build credibility. So the consequence is that it's seen as an unreliable partner. Then you've got the USA. Its failure is squandering all that admiration it had. So now it's seen by many as a betrayer of the very ideals its allies once believed.
So at the end of the day, here's what it all boils down to. In this really complex, chaotic world, countries are desperate for leadership they can count on, a partnership built on trust. And right now, on that crucial front, both Washington and Beijing are failing the test. Badly.
And that leaves us with one final, really important question. When the challenger can't be trusted, and the champion is no longer trusted, a vacuum opens up. So the big question for our time is this: who or what is going to fill that void? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.